Hello, welcome to Gateway Rotary. I actually call this meeting to order, and I would like to invite Jody up for the pledge and the four-way test. All right, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Woo-hoo. And for our inspiration, Tommy Drake.
Well, hi there. I have to find this now. That's not the right one there. Okay. So we're having our country's birthday on Saturday. And I think that one of the really important things is to remember that honesty is the best policy. Mark Twain says, if you tell the truth, you don't have anything to remember, which is pretty good. And he also says, do the right thing. It will gratify some people and astonish others. Good point. And so have a happy birthday on Saturday. The people at Area 61 that have the rice bowls were wearing happy birthday things yesterday. So that's kind of cool. Oops, wrong one.
Yeah, I've got an announcement, I'm guessing. Yeah. First, I wanted to say thank you for Becca for doing tech and to everybody that does tech for us. So thanks for that, and for our greeters and everybody who's helping out. Do we have any visiting Rotarians with us today?
Yes, miss. My brother's very famous.
I'm telling you, Tori was playing with
I brother Dave.
Okay. Joni. Okay, Wednesday club and Friday club.
Do we have a second microphone out there? Oh, yeah, our second microphone's being a little testy. And do we have anybody with guests?
I want to introduce my youngest granddaughter, Della Varnon Welch. She just got back from New Zealand and will be finishing more studies in England the next couple semesters. And we're happy that we've got her here.
It's super exciting. Any more guests of our folks today? All right, let's move on to announcements real quick. Yes, Kelly? She's just hopping right to the front of that announcement line.
I wait for no one. So we sort of dropped the ball on having everybody sign up for this month. And so some lovelies signed up for this week. So that's taken care of. But I am going to pass this. And I have this like groovy pin here that I expect to see back. School teacher.
More announcements. Come on up.
This is a little early, but on the 30th of this month, the last Thursday, we're going to have the social at our Don Welch's house. It's a kind of a potluck, but we need heavy appetizers. And we'll be there at 5:30. And after that, the other Don C from Echo Recovery, will take us for a walk on the trail that she talked about when she was here last month. So there will be a sign-up sheet as soon as we get one today. But if not today, Beverly will have one on the 9th. And please sign up so we know how many people to expect. Okay.
She's a little shorter than I am. What month is it? It's not really just July. It is Jelly July. So for us, we need to compete against the other Rotary group. Grants Pass Rotary is challenging us. And Patrice, how many hundreds of ounces did Roger tell us? 700 and some odd ounces. So we've got a long ways to go. I brought in probably, yeah, I brought in 6 of these, so we've got more to go. But the neat part is too, if you are interested and just want to put in some money in here, Val said she's more than happy to run around and buy jellies if you don't have time to do it or don't think about getting it done. So I'm going to pass the little envelope around. If you'd like to put some money in there, that'd be fabulous, and Val will get it done. Otherwise, I see we've got a number of jelly jars back there. So thank you for bringing them.
Okay, and just an FYI, I did put some of these on your tables, but Banner Bank is hosting our Red event coming up on Friday, July 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We ask that everybody keep it to 3 banker boxes full of documents, but we would love to have you. It's a free shred event for our community. We'll be out there with fun and all sorts of fun things for you guys. So come see us.
Okay, did I miss anything? I'm pretty proud of myself. I made notes and left them at home, so I made Mark send me the screenshot of it. So you're going to hear a lot from me today. I'm excited to share with you some of my personal stories and pictures. I have a PowerPoint, and it's going to close out with the goals that I've selected for this year. And those are the technical goals that I put into my Rotary, and then also just some of my personal goals for serving all of you. So, and at the end, I'm going to have a little bit of a question and answer to answer any questions that you might have. So if you're ready, Becca, so am I. That's me. When I was a little girl, my mother made all of my clothes. She actually worked at Islanders School of Fashion Design here in Grants Pass as a teacher in the late 70s and early 80s, which is something I think we don't even have to this day. And so everything that I owned was made by her. I was born and raised at Grants Pass, as you can see at the top of the hill. I'm a local girl. I went to school here at our local schools, and I still don't understand why we closed Jerome Prairie. It was one of the best schools that we had for elementary schools in the Valley, in my opinion. Went on to Lincoln Savage and sort of a brief stint at Hidden Valley High School, and I went straight to RCC when I was 16 years old. I like to tell students that I work with that I was allergic to high school, and many of my teachers are here in this club. So next one, please. So roots, things that I am. I'm an adventurer. I'm an artist. I love most forms of art other than two-dimensional because I'm not that good at it. I love sculpture, as many of you have heard. My first love of art started with theater, with Bobby Kidder, my mentor, and acting has been something I've done a lot of. This is me on my wedding day in my front yard. I was 22 years old. And I actually had a friend. I couldn't afford photography because I was young and poor. And I had a friend do photography, and she was so happy with that shot. She blew it up into poster sized. And that was a little intimidating, but she used it. This is Pluto's Cave down in California, kind of just north of Mount Shasta. I love adventuring. As you can see, I'm not going to read it off, but I'm also an aviator, a lifelong student, and I love adventuring. So you'll see a little bit of my adventures on here and some of my family. Shan Creek in my home. This is where I grew up. My community raised me along with myself. That is my crane. And you can see some kids climbed out on the end of it. Those are a friend of mine's children. And that's one of my older German Shepherds, Maya. She's gone now, but there's a lot of pictures of old stuff in here. Next one. This is the same crane, Shan Creek, Taylor Creek Fire. which many of us remember pretty well. Brenda lives across the street from me. That was a really challenging and difficult time. And I love my community and my home so much that I have been prepping for this for like 30 years. And so I had irrigation, I had fire hoses, I had generators, I had fire breaks, I had everything in place. And the one thing I didn't think of is how hard it was going to be to watch my neighborhood freak out. And I was cool, but it was really difficult to experience all of that turmoil and upset. I ended up within my field, I think about 10 or 15 of my neighbors' cars and things because I was kind of a fallback zone for the fire. And so been through that. I'm glad that's over. Next one, please. Cooler days, same crane. I love my crane if you haven't noticed. That is also a story that I could spend an hour telling. It's a great story. So if you ever want to hear a great story, ask me about that. That's Jasper and Maya, my German Shepherds from years past. They were siblings. And this is a 1929 Pauling and Harnisch-Figure crane. It's kind of a local landmark. It's in the middle of my lawn. And it does run. You start it with a hand crank. And it's a big old 4-cylinder Waukesha. And I tell you to ask me about 2029 because I intend to load that up and take it to Pottsville for Father's Day weekend. So, and bring it home. But once again, that will make it pretty challenging for me to participate in Porch Fest. So you're forewarned, 3 years from now, I will be the whole weekend at Pottsville. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to be the belle of the ball. This is my immediate family. This is my dad and my husband, Mark Cornett. And this is Washington Beach, where literally I'm going to like mic drop and run out the door and drive up there because that's where we spend our 4th of July every year for our family reunion. It's one of my favorite holidays. And Daddy is one of my favorite people. I like Mark all right, too. He's a good man. I once told him, Daddy, if Mark turns out to be half the man that you are, I will be a lucky woman. And like, 2 days later, he's like, is Mark treating you all right? And I just love that he pays attention and he loves his family. And we're very blessed. We're clam digging. We do a lot of clam digging up there. Probably not this weekend, but this is Moby on the closest to the clam gun. And then Bluto's looking off into the distance. Those are my 2 Belgian Malinois. You've heard me talk about Moby Dick quite a bit. We lost him last year in June. One of the best dogs I've ever had. Belgians are a lot. If anybody says that people are lying when they say that they're a lot, they're lying because they are the most dog I have ever seen. Nice. This is my sister, Chris, that you also hear a lot about. This is the very first picture that we took together. Many of you know I lost my family when I was a little girl. I lost my parents. And so I am an orphan. And I was an only child. And I had a somewhat tumultuous upbringing. And I'm a survivor. But my mother had a daughter, Chris, that she gave up for adoption. She's about 8.5 years older than me. I've known about her since I was 11. And Chris found out about me about 10 years ago and went on a hunt when she turned 50. And she found me, and she's one of the greatest blessings of my life. Doug, you'd be proud of me. I'm choking up a little bit. I actually recently went to visit my parents' grave, which I don't do very often because I don't think that they're there. But I thanked my mother for my sister because it's one of the greatest gifts she's ever given me. Bonus brother Rick. So my sister was adopted, and she is 2 years older than Rick. I'm not, and he is their actual biological child. And so they grew up together, and he's amazing. I love it. You'll see that we have matching shirts in a couple of the upcoming images. They grew up in Chico, went to Chico State. My favorite thing about him is that he's witty and super intelligent, and both my siblings are. We go on sibling cruises a lot and great adventures, and I could not be more blessed to have the two of them in my life. I'm actually, the 2 days I plan to miss this year as the president running the meeting, I'm going to North Dakota to spend like about 9 or 10 days with my brother and his husband, Joel, in Asheville, North Carolina. So I'm really excited about that. Next, please. These are so fantastic. This was our last cruise, our sibling cruise this last January. We go every year to honor their mother who passed away and to get to know each other. We were joking, especially when Rick got on the white couch, and I'm like, oh no, I am so buying this. And they're just such good-natured adventurers and always are by my side. So next year, our sibling cruise will be celebrating my sister's 60th birthday and Rick's husband Joel's 60th birthday also. So we're all going to go together. Likely a cruise is kind of the easiest way to get us all together. And you know, they take those pictures of you at Carnival and they charge you insane amounts of money for them. And so I had to have these. I mean, how could you pass that up? Next slide, please. This is on that same trip. You can see my brother's matching shirt. We brought this at a place, one of his ramen places that he really liked. I love the sign, Adventure Awaits. That was us ziplining in Cabo San Lucas in the mountains. We did the Superman zip line. That was just crazy, crazy long. We have lots of video. If I would have known that we were going to pay to buy all the pictures, because they too charge you a lot, the people, our friends that were with us decided to buy it, I would have taken like more time to look better or even just not be the super cheesy smile. But I did really have, I love ziplining. We've been all over the world in different places together. So that is really a lot of fun. Next. Friends are my family. Before I found real family, I get the blessing of getting to pick and choose who my family are. And this may sound a little difficult, but sometimes I say when people, because family can be hard. And sometimes I just kind of shake my head and say, sometimes it's not so bad being an orphan. Because it's really nice to be able to find your true friends and your people. So Christina Arnado, you might recognize that name. A few of you have met her at events. Her dad was our sheriff when I was in middle school and high school. And she was super, super, super tiny when we were kids. And I was like this tall. I was smaller, but I was this tall. And we weren't real close in middle school, but I saw her post a picture of her dad. He retired in Montana and Yellowstone, and she posted a picture of her dad wearing cop glasses that she got for him. And I'm like, your dad was so cool. He was a great sheriff. And when she moved back to Grants Pass, she invited people out for her birthday. I showed up, and we've been inseparable ever since. She also was part of the Taylor Creek Fire. She lives on West Pickett, and she lived at my house with her 3 dogs and my 3 dogs and all of our stuff and a whole lot of stress, and we're still friends. So, you know, those trials and tribulations let you know who's always going to stay there and show up for you. You'll recognize Chelsea Fine over there too. She was here a few weeks ago. I've known Chelsea since I was 2 years old. Our parents were friends. She's also one of the great blessings in my life. I love that woman. This was Christmas. That is the fakest smile in the world on me. I love the picture, but Christina, when she moved back to town, she started the Santa Pub Crawl, which garnered Toys for Tots and for youth in our community. And she did it a number of years running. And ironically, she's not very social, even though she calls herself the social critter on some of her media. So she sets everything up and then she's like, please talk to the people for me. And that's something I'm usually pretty comfortable with. And I remember one year we had to have 2 trucks to take all the toys to deliver them. There was amazing turnout, thousands of people. Next slide, please. Misty. Misty's one of the greatest people I've ever known. Some of you have been around here for a long time would recognize her from working here at the pub. She worked here for, I don't know, almost decades. And she currently works at the sheriff's office. This is probably the most authentic smile you'll ever see out of me. That is just pure joy being with the person that I love. She just has the greatest heart for service, and she's tough and strong and loving and forgiving. She's all the things that sometimes I wish I could be a little bit more of, because she's way nicer than I am. I love that picture. Okay, next slide, please. That is my 1951 Willys Jeep. That was my dad's. It is the one thing that if I have nothing left, I will still have it. And it's tied into my crane story. That's Moby Dick in the back. And that is Christina's Jeep on the left with her two dogs, Jasper and Arrow. And we're up Onion Mountain not too long after the fire. I think that's when they had that big log deck up at 5 Mile. And we were out adventuring and having great fun. And I love that picture. Okay, next. My part-time kids. I like to say I tried not to have children and they asked me to be their parent. So here they are. This is Ashley and Keegan. That's a selfie. They found each other. They always call each other brother and sister, even though they're not terribly close. They sent me this picture on the phone and said, we're together. I have updated this a little bit. I can't believe she just turned 35. She probably wouldn't be happy with me sharing that, but Keegan's right behind her, a year younger. He's going to be turning 34 in December. Helping raise these kids has been one of the greatest joys in my life. I tend to gravitate towards strong-willed people, and they've given me a run for my money, both of them, still do. Ashley has two sons, Herschel, who just turned 18 and graduated from high school, and Weston, he's I think 11 or 12. And then Jax was born last year on August 31st, Keegan's son. Next, please. This is my favorite picture in the whole wide world of him. And I knew that I had to put in at least one shameless grandma picture because he is so cute and I just love him. He's doing really well. Next, please. This is Ashley Faith. This is my girl. I remember when she asked me to be her mom, it was my birthday, and she bought me a mother-daughter charm. And she said she was 11, and I think I was like 27. And she said, "Will you be my mom?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know if you know what that means." Because that means all the fun. I mean, we still do fun things, but I'm going to be a lot harder on you, and I'm going to tell you the truth, and you might not like that at times. But she's done really well for herself. I'm incredibly proud of her. She got married at my home. She asked me to get married there. It's where I got married. This is my bedroom with her looking in the mirror. That's in the childhood wallpaper my mother put up behind her. This is the swing that my dad built for me when I was a little girl that it hooked to the end of my crane. And then this is the final piece of my crane Jeep motorcycle story. That is a 1956 Ariel Square 4. See, not very many people know what it is. I do, and it's original condition, and it was stolen from me. I say that again. Pretty much, yeah. I just got a sidecar for it recently. Because I can ride a motorcycle, okay, but I love this motorcycle so much that if I were to crash, I would throw myself underneath it to protect it. I'm also smart enough to know that's not a good idea. Hence why I purchased the sidecar for it. And there's lots of great stories to this. I love this. We did a photo shoot for her before her wedding so that she could enjoy her wedding day. Next slide, please. My fur babies, some of these pictures. This was actually the vocational I made for our club when I first started, and we were all online, and there was internet issues, and I don't think anybody got to see much of it. So I fired up the old computer, and I dug around, and I found it, and I updated it a lot, as much as I could. That's Moby Dick when he's a baby. He was so cute. And that's Bluto. He had like a recessed jaw, so it made his tongue extra long, and it just made him the cutest puppy in the entire world. That is Maggie the cat. Next. There's Moby Dick. They're actually dog models. Christina does dog photography, and so if you look up rough dog toys, they get free ones all the time. And all of my dogs have been models for their company. That's Balachi of the infamous space cat variety. You'll probably see or hear about that more. And then of course Bluto, both my Belgian Malinois. Missing is Jasmine, who many of you met, and Mabel. Next, please. Oh, well, we still got Bluto. And then this is Badger. Badger is Maggie's sister. Mark debates me on that, but that was my Father's Day gift to my neighborhood pop. He has a problem with kittens, and so I took 2 of them for Father's Day for him. And that was about 6 or 7 years ago. They're beautiful cats. Next, please. This is the best selfie ever. And I said it with the appropriate tone because I truly believe that. I don't really like taking selfies a whole lot, but I want to ride in that 1941, I believe it was, Stearman biplane. And I'm in the front of it in this picture, and I was flying in tandem with the one that you can kind of see in front of it. This is about probably 2019, and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And I was like, oh yeah, this is selfie time. And hence that's another really genuine smile. And I actually have a long-term dream of owning a biplane and giving tours of the Rogue Valley, because we don't have anybody that does that here, so that I can afford to own a biplane, because they're very expensive. I talked with some, I was kind of really just learning how to fly at this point, and I talked to some old school aviators, and they said, biplanes, it's the motorcycle of the sky. And they are right. It's just fantastic. I did get to fly it a little bit too. Next, please. That there, Christina and Stineric and myself, that was the front page of the newspaper in the first year of the Santa Pub Crawl. And I just love that picture. I think we were at the hall when we met with someone and had those pictures taken. The Nutcrackers, I don't like them. They creep me out. Not all nutcrackers. People think I'm afraid of nutcrackers. It's not true. Just the ones in Grants Pass that are on every street corner. And so I've had a little fun with that, because they don't actually just scare me. Just when they first came out, I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Whoa, they were just kind of everywhere. So next, please. This is my educational background. This is, I'm a big believer. I bought this bumper sticker when I was very young, the truly educated never graduate. Where we just keep on doing that. I went to, this is kind of starting at the bottom. I am the most proud of getting an A in Math 111 from Charlotte Hutt. Right? And I took it again when I came back to be a math tutor, and I got an A again. And I'm still proud of that. It's still a tough class. Rural Community College, I got my adult high school diploma in 97, about a week before I got my Associate of Arts in Business Administration. They pretty much got them at the same time. And when I skipped that high school portion, I was like 16, and I'm like, I want my adult high school diploma. And they don't offer that anymore. It's just GED now. And I was like, well, someone once told me I would never graduate from high school. I don't remember who it was, but I really showed them. And I love motivation like that. So I lined up my high school requirements with my college requirements, and I said, I'm going to get this. And they said, but you're not an adult. And I said, by the time I finish this, I will be. And that's where I was in 97. I graduated with business administration. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought that was kind of like a general thing. And when I met with an SOU advisor to keep going for business, I almost died of boredom on the spot. So I took a little bit of a break. And that's when I came back working at RCC. I've always stayed connected with Bobby Kidder and all of the amazing RCC folks, including this club is what really ties me in. I went to SOU. I got my Bachelor of Arts in Human Communications, and then I got my Master's in Education from Ashford University in 2012 with a 4.0. It was harder to get an A in Charlotte's math class. Okay, next, please. There's a whole lot of information there. These are jobs of days past. I've done a little bit of everything. I think one of the best ways to describe myself is by compliments I've received from some of my favorite people. I worked with Pam Green in Moving On, and she is just the best cheerleader and most amazing person. We worked together, and we were walking around. I said, oh yeah, I did that once. I detailed cars. I was a pawnbroker. I sold Tupperware. And she said, is there anything you haven't done? And I really do kind of have a lot of experience. I've always been employed, multiple jobs, most of my entire life. I like what I say about the cash connection. Being a pawnbroker was an education within itself. Like, I learned as much or more from the time I spent there. I'm still close with Ron Reed and a lot of the folks there, and I loved what I learned. Last one I added on was Pacific Aviation Northwest. That was an unexpected job that many of you have heard about. And also that Southern Oregon Air Academy work that I did with Daniela. We've worked together many times over the years, and I did not put my real estate career in there because it wasn't good. I wasn't bad at it. It just, sometimes things don't work out and they just lead you to where you're supposed to be. And if you see anything up there you want to ask about, feel free to do so later. Next slide, please. This is a great story, and I don't know if I've shared this, but this goes back to Lutz Kramer. And I actually said, who would you like to emulate and why? And I'd put Lutz Kramer as the quote. And I'm like, who told me that? he gave me that question when I was first in college, and I was angry with him for it because I know how to take tests and I was good at it. And knowing a little bit about my history, I'm sure you can imagine I didn't have a lot of great role models in my life. And I was just used to being me and doing the best I could at that. And I was a little stumped. And I was a little angry with the other people in the class that had all these people they could be like, and it was an easy question for them. And I remember Lutz didn't really say anything, but he that nonverbal communication and like, okay, I know you've got all this test stuff, like you really can't get this wrong. So write something. And I did. I wrote down that I wanted to be like Bobby Kidder. And I think the strongest thing about that lesson in my life was that my why is because she makes people feel good about themselves. And I think I underestimated how much meaning that question and that truth would have in my life, because that is my, if you ask me what's my core value, the thing that I try to do every day, that's it. So next slide, please. This is my Courageous Conversations team from a few years ago. Ryan Scott has moved to Eugene. He was at Newman United Methodist. We've got Tom Barry, who is an amazing man. And of course, Sally Snyder, that's his wife, Allison, next to Tom. And then blanking out because she has a unique name. Ernestine, yes, Ernestine, she's amazing. She's also left town, but it has been a true honor to serve on this group and to champion for equal rights and just honesty and transparency within our community. And I've been blessed enough to be able to do that in Grants Pass on quite a few levels. And a lot of it started here. I've learned a lot from them, from my experiences in this town, and I'm proud of that work, and I'm glad to see that it's continuing. Next slide. Trust in the magic. I think it was Judy's year that magic was in this title up here. And that was when she asked me to be president. So I trusted in the magic, and that's why I'm here today. So thank you for believing in me. This is our new banner as the shifting of the years, create lasting impact, something I'm also a big believer in. Next slide, please. All right, here's the business part. I'm a fast talker. I try not to take up too much time. I know y'all want to hear from Lutz, and this is probably the most you'll hear me speak at one of our meetings, because I really like, as much as I love the microphone too, I really respect sharing it and making sure that other people have a voice and that you get a variety in what you get to listen to today or on our meetings. So these are the official Rogue Gateway Rotary goals that I put into my Rotary. Club membership, add 5 new members. I was going to go for 7. Honestly, I've talked with a lot of our club members, and there's a really big push to grow more Rotary members at that kind of level. They're like, oh, our club's a little different. Our club is really wonderful. And so we have a lot of people that want to join our club. And when I talk to folks, they're like, I like the size of our club. It's grown a lot from because I joined originally when we were probably around 30, 35 members, and we've grown to almost 75 members. That's one of our goals. I think Valerie talked about that last week. And I think that's a really nice size. I'm not saying, of course, I wouldn't welcome anybody who's a good fit, but my goal is to not run out and get as many members as we can without being honest and straightforward and like, hey, is this the right fit for you? So I think we're going to have a really easy time meeting those 5 members. And I'd like to say that I looked at last year's numbers as I'm setting these goals, because they have recommended ones. And I feel a little guilty like claiming like credit for accomplishing these things, because it's all the work that you all have done before me. And I could look at the metrics and be like, oh, well, I can set that goal because I know we're going to meet it. That's just something we do on an annual basis. So new member sponsorship kind of ties in with that. I suppose the numbers should probably be the same, but that's to have different club members bring forward and sponsor a new member. So if you have any questions about that, you can talk to me or Bev, our membership committee person. Service participation, 60 members engaged. That's not going to be a problem. Annual fund contributions of 10,000 from our club members. Polio Plus Fund contributions of 5,000. I know that's something that we have helped increase with the card draw, because all of that, the 50 part of it goes to the Polio Plus. I saw some amazing speakers at the Pels training. including our international president. He was a speaker there, wonderful speaker. And then also a man who had polio. And it was one of the most impactful speakers I've ever seen. Ask me more later because I don't want to go on too much about it. Polio Plus, social activities, 8 fun events. That's our socials. We've already got one coming up at Don's house. I'm really looking forward to that. Not only to just seeing your home and checking out what Don Coglizer has done with the Eco Trail. Rotary Fellowship participation is 15. I wasn't sure I understood that. I think that's 15 people. I think we can do that. Service projects, 4 service projects. Once again, that's something that's already been done that we're going to continue to do. Rotaract Club. There's been a lot of talk. I've helped with that Rotaract Club in the past at RCC. I have an intricate understanding of clubs policies at RCC, and I've done a lot of work on that level already. Julie Toledo has volunteered to be our advisor, which is a big deal. So I think that's going to just like a no-brainer. I could check that box also. Leadership development participation. I'd like to see 2 of our club members do that. And RILA participation, 1 is just that minimum. We may have even more that we send off. Next, please. Review and update club bylaws. I've already done a lot of that, like looking at it. That's kind of the work I did in student government. So it was funny. I went to one of the Pell's trainings, and there was a very, very meticulous, like accountant-like guy that was like, you have to do things this way. And I was reading the international constitution and bylaws, and they were telling me that things had changed. And I was like, well, it says here that, this is old. You should update this. And he's like, what? That has to be an old version. No, I just printed it out. And so I'm good at catching those things. And so I'll bring more information to you about that as we move forward. We just have to update some things. District training participation, 2 members. That's usually up in Cottage Grove, or there's a number of different opportunities that folks can take advantage of. I've been the last couple of years, and it's been fun. And then media stories about club projects. I think we should have at least 2 of those because we're going to do great things this year. All right. My biggest goal is to serve this club's members in our community. I appreciate all of the work that the people that have come before me have done and continue to do. And one of my biggest goals is to make that work for you easier and to streamline some of the processes, to write it down, to have standard operating procedures, to really just answer all the questions that I can before they come up. So anytime you have questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask me. If I always say this at the college too, if I don't know the answer, I will find it because we've got really amazing people here that do a lot of wonderful work. So, and I love that together we create magic. I've trusted in the magic. That was the smartest thing I ever did. I was so scared. My favorite job I've ever had in my lifetime had just kind of fallen apart. I didn't know what to do. And I just jumped ship in the middle of the ocean with no lifeboat in sight and just had faith. And here I am now. Things are much better. I even made this on the Rotary site. And I think that's the next one is just our Rotary emblem and that symbol, and that's it. Then I'm available for questions and answers. And I talk really fast, and that's a whole lot of information. Thank you.
Hey, wait. I don't really have a question, and it's not time for Happy Bucks yet, but I just want to tell you how much I love you. And I have siblings, but I want to go on your sibling cruise. So thank you. You're just so full of life and charming, and I'm just thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you, Judy. That's a mutual feeling indeed. It's so nice when people believe in you. Makes you believe in yourself. All you teachers out there, thank you.
Why do you want to put a sidecar on the aerial?
So I can go slower around the corners. And put my best friend passed away a couple years ago, is Jasmine's dad. And I miss him every day. And he left me a little bit of money. And, we don't want to just pay bills with it. I wanted to rebuild my family legacy and to make him a part of it. Sorry for that. Didn't mean that.
All right, so it's an aerial sidecar?
It is.
Okay, that's good. Okay, okay.
I'm really glad to see you're going to be like the Ryla. One of our speakers that was here doing the four-way test speeches, he didn't win. His name is Corbin. And we talked to him because he comes out and he works in our yard. And I talked to him and says, have you thought about going to Ryla camp? And he knew nothing about it. He didn't hear about it in the school, which really surprised me. We got him in touch with Delin, and he went to Ryla camp. And last week he was out working on the property and he thanked us. He said it was the best experience he ever had. So I'd like to see us really keep Ryla in the forefront.
And he's meeting his team in September.
Yes. Yeah, the team he was grouped up with, they're all getting together in September for kind of like a little mini reunion.
I forgot what I was going to say. But you were a great student, and we're more colleagues than students, I think, because you were in the Learning Center and I was upstairs in the gallery. But, oh, sorry, thank you. There was something that was, oh, what is your mom's name? Peggy.
Peggy and Jess.
Because I taught at Margaret Islanders School too. Yes, that's why when you said that, I went, oh my gosh. So I don't remember that name.
Okay. She had my voice and my smile. I'm going to try to do this without crying because I love Jenny. I had the opportunity to work with her when I first got here, and we just keep circling around the same universe. And this woman is salt of the earth, greatest person. So I'm super excited for your year. Thank you for sharing more about yourself, and I'm excited to see what comes. Again, a mutual feeling indeed. I find the magic brings you back to the people that you need.
I have two questions. One is the 15 participants in the fellowship. What do you mean that by 15? I know you are asking for 8 socials, but there was another line which says.
I think that number of people that participate.
Oh, okay.
So I think we already got that.
Right. Okay. Another thing is Coach Fest in your goals.
Well, it's one of our community service events. It absolutely. I didn't list it specifically, but yeah, that's absolutely something that we do really good at. Thank you, Daniela. Well, yes, everyone.
Jenny, you often talk about all the people here at Rotary who were your teachers at RCC, and I was just wondering, who was your favorite Writing 115 teacher?
I can wholeheartedly answer that as it was you in my very first term. And I'm a really good writer too. So thank you.
I am thoroughly impressed with your A in Charlotte Hutt's math class. Because trust me, I went through the math for elementary school teachers, and there was nothing elementary about that series. I had to drop all my other classes and only do math. It consumed every part of me. Oh yeah, and you know what? My doctor wrote her a note that said, Lisa, what was it? Lisa can't do math class because it causes too much stress. So good for you.
I would trail around behind her, finishing the test, and argue with her and tell her, because it's a 10-question test, 10 points each. And there would be one on every one that she didn't teach us, but it was open book. And so like all the other next class, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not leaving her sight. And I would say, you didn't teach us this. And she'd say, Jenny, math is all about problem solving. Oh, we're still friends.
Well, we saw a lot of good things about her life and on the screen there, but one thing we didn't find out about is how sour she is. She makes good sourdough starter and gave me some.
Thank you, John. It's up for grabs. It came from my sixth grade homeroom teacher. I love my teachers. I stay in connection with them. Any other questions? All right, we're just about right on time to invite Lutz Kramer up for Sergeant at Arms. Thank you all so much for the love. I appreciate it. I'm really happy to serve you.
Thanks, Jenny. That's a tough act to follow, isn't it? Especially since Kelly convinced me to do Sergeant at Arms at the last minute. So I didn't have time to have my typical 3 a.m. epiphany. But I started thinking we're close to a holiday. Maybe I'll do something about holidays. And I was thinking back about when Lisa was teaching third grade at Lincoln. And one of the assignments was to do a poster of your favorite holiday. And I thought I could, not the poster, but I could figure out something to do with that. Because I remember this one, they posted them all up on the wall in the hallway. And I walked along looking at all of them. And my favorite was a kid who said his favorite holiday was Taco Tuesday. And I thought, God, 52 times a year, you get to celebrate your holiday. That really makes a lot of sense. But I started thinking about my favorite holiday. And some of you may be surprised to hear me say that it is the 4th of July. And it's not because of baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet kind of thing. It goes back to when I was a kid, 4-year-old in post-war Germany. And it wasn't a very pleasant place to be at that time. I remember playing in bombed out buildings. There often wasn't enough to eat. And it was just generally kind of a down feeling. So when my mother told me that we were going to go to another country, I thought, well, I'm not sure what another country is, but it sounds like it might be better than what's going on here. So on a flight from Germany to New York City, Pan Am Airlines, great stewardess who gave me my first example of a glimmer fruit cocktail. She let me have as much fruit cocktail as I wanted for the entire flight. And as we got to New York, somebody pointed out to me that in the distance you could see the Statue of Liberty. And I don't remember who told me, whether it was the stewardess or another passenger, but they said, here's a statue welcoming you. And I thought, okay, statue welcoming me, fruit cocktail, not a bad place, even though these people speak kind of funny. So, that initial response to what it meant to be an American, held through for many years for me. By the time I got to college and doing political theory at Berkeley, I saw the other part of why this is my favorite holiday. Studying the founding fathers, particularly Thomas Jefferson, and what he put into that document, that, basically the U.S. is founded on an idea, not on taking over another country or something of that sort. And I've always thought that his move from John Locke's talking about life, liberty, and property to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was an incredible move. And so what I think of now when I think of the 4th of July is that idea that's behind all of this. So what I'd like you to do for Happy Bucks today is share what the 4th of July means to you. And we can't leave until everybody does it. Okay, since we've got only one mic, I'll walk around here with it.
Well, 4th of July for me is Interdependence Day because it's the day my husband and I were married 29 years ago in a couple of days. Thank you. So I have 20 happy bucks for Interdependence Day, and I hope that this country realizes that independence comes from interdependence and relying on each other to make things right. Thank you.
You know, actually, today should be the real Independence Day that John Adams wrote to his wife, Abigail Adams, and said that today, when we signed the document, should be celebrated forever in this country with bonfires and all kinds of other celebrations.
Okay, so first of all, I have a kind of a sad buck, but it's gratitude also. Lisa Looney was sharing that she lost her fur baby. And so we all know how that feels, and we're with you on that. The other one is 4th of July for me. Growing up, I hated this holiday. And the reason was because my dad was a doctor, and every 4th of July he got called in because some kid blew himself fingers off or something with a cherry bomb or some kind of weird thing. And so we never really got to have fun on 4th of July. My parents were horrible about it. You will not blow up firecrackers in the street. And yeah, and so it was, for us, it was a bummer.
Well, I like 4th of July for the fireworks. My uncle would come up from San Diego. We lived in California, and he would always bring a great array of fireworks, all kind, you know, the ones that go up and do all the pretty colors and everything. So that's the colors is what I love about it. And just, we always had a great time with my whole family there. So
The 4th of July fireworks story reminds me of something that happened to me on Fireworks Day, 4th of July. And that's the reason I'm hard of hearing in my left ear is bam.
Anybody else?
So I'm going to plug a book because one of my favorite things is books. But Lois McMillan, the high school teacher, history teacher, there's a library book club starting. And the book is The American Revolution and the Fate of the World by Richard Bell. And I just finished it, and it is absolutely wonderful. You know, it's got, I think, 14 chapters, 14 different ways of looking at the world and what was going on in the world that helped bring the United States to be the United States. It really was a world war and not just us against the British. And so that was, I get excited about learning new things. So that's
Thank you for that, Debbie. And I will just say, I was kind of like Kelly. I was scared to death of fireworks because my dad loved them. And he used to get those whirly-birdy things that just stuck in the tree and they spun around. They found me every year, and I would just cry because I would be running around the backyard with these wild spinny things coming after me. So that scared me to death as a child. But as I became a teacher and I taught at 5th grade, I loved the history of our country and the founding fathers. And I'm going to make sure I get that book. And I will also tell you that right now I am hosting 2 of the students that are here for Lois's American Exchange. And at the fireworks this year, they will be doing I can't think of the name of it, but they wrote about it in the back of the sneak preview, but they will be doing a presentation because Lois is the most incredible, amazing history teacher there ever was. And she has them putting together this presentation about the 250th anniversary. So it will definitely be a good one. We can count on it.
All the way back here.
Thank you. My best remembrances and things of the 4th of July is the fact that I lived growing up at the very beginning of Lower River Road. We were literally almost across the river from the fairgrounds. And so when the fairgrounds had all the fireworks displays, it was phenomenal because we could literally take our chairs, sit in the backyard, and just watch everything. And we never had to leave our house.
You guys could sit at the same place.
Getting your steps in. Okay, who's next over there? So I got happy bucks for a couple things, and 4th of July I used to love as a child, but then I was in the military in the Middle East, and that bombs and everything, whatever. Thank you, Daniela, for Porch Fest. And yeah, okay. Get right down. And also Patty. Well, Patty Hansen, but Mary Millard, where's she too? She here? No. Oh, she's up there. Thank you, Mary, for all your work as well. We did amazing. We raised an amazing amount of money this year because of them, and thank you for that. I also had the pleasure of the last couple of weeks. I've missed Rotary for 3 or 4 weeks now. Had the pleasure of being at the high school. Jesus Christ. Teaching construction, and I had a great 14 kids for the last 4 weeks or so, and it's been fantastic.
Great. Thanks, Doug.
There were talking about Mark Twain earlier, and I can tell you something else Mark Twain said. Whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting.
Anybody else? Great.
So I've always had pets, and my dogs don't like the 4th. So at one point, I won a Extreme Dream giveaway, which was a $10,000 home theater. And so the home theater turned out to be a blessing because it was a soundproof room with all the big screen on the front, overhead projection, the whole thing. But it was a great place to go hide with the pets and just hang out, put a movie in, and everybody was happy. So that was my 4th of July.
Your dogs loved it too, right? Anybody else? Okay, great. So have a great 4th of July, but Viva Taco Tuesday. Ace of Diamonds. Ah, it's only fitting, only fitting.
Thank you, Lutz. And thank you to everybody who stepped in to serve today. We always love listening to Lutz. It's fun. So I have a thought for the day for you, and I think I'll continue with a little bit of what I shared with you today. I mentioned Pam Green. She's one of the greatest people I've known. And one of the other things she said to me that I think is really perfect for the thought for the day is anytime I encounter something I love, I say, oh, that's my favorite. And Pam said to me one day, Jenny, you know what I love about you? Everything is your favorite, but you mean it every time. And I thought to myself, that's true. And what a great way to live. So thank you all. Have a wonderful holiday weekend.